All right, you know what? We don't ever do any sort of intro thing, so I'm not gonna do one for this. Hey guys, we're gonna fucking show you whatever. Fucking recording, right? Yeah. Who gives a shit? You want to throw some bags?
Yeah, let's throw some bags.
You're almost as good as me.
I think I'm better than you.
That's fucking. Dude, did you see the thing I posted the other day?
Yeah.
That was fucking fast, bro.
That wasn't that fast.
Dude.
You missed the last bag.
But if I hadn't.
You did miss the last bag.
I mean, you missed it.
Yeah, but you missed it, so it doesn't count. You can't say what if I hadn't.
Yeah, what if? Yeah, no. I mean, in the game, like, if you miss that bag in game, it's useless. I mean, everything, all that work for nothing.
Second place, and then being like, well, if I just had pulled that last deadlift faster.
Yeah. All I do is get ganged up on. Like, always. I don't fucking get it. Let's just throw a goddamn sandbag.
Get shit. All right. Well, let's throw that.
It's called Squats and Signs.
Okay.
So if you go to squatsandscience.com, you can sign up online.
Squats and Signs?
Yep.
Got it. I'm gonna look into it.
Or just stop by. I'm always out here.
Oh, awesome, man.
Y'all having a good day?
24 hours, right?
What's that?
24 hours?
24 hours.
Awesome, man.
Never close.
Thanks for the info. Okay.
See you guys.
Were they telling you to put your shirt back on?
He said, how can I get on your program? I said, you just take your shirt off and the rest does itself.
They gave him a speeding ticket for how fast his bag run was.
Oh, fucking stupid. So you're the best bag thrower in the world. Tell us how to do it. Break it down.
I mean, there's some basics to it. Let's talk about it. People like to treat it like a kettlebell. It's not a kettlebell, but the movement pattern is very similar to a Russian style kettlebell swing. American style, overhead, whatever. There's some big differences. Some people, here's the biggest things that I take away, or that I try to preach. Can I have one of the lighter bags? Yeah. Give me the empty bag. Give me an empty bag.
Empty bag.
Yeah. Just for demo purposes.
A brand new Server Strength sandbag.
Get yours right now with code BECKLORCH10.
Okay, so check it out. Pretty simple. What people like to do when they do kettlebell swings is they like to dip real deep under, and then they like to come back up, and they think that they're doing a proper kettlebell swing. You're not. Proper kettlebell swing, your hips are hinging back, your spine is staying straight, and your arms are basically carrying the weight, right? My lats are locked in, really simple stuff, and I'm keeping the bell on a what's the word I'm looking for? On the same arc.
But you said
100%
of the time. It's not a kettlebell swing.
So the difference is, and here's where the big difference is people like to let the kettlebells float back, and at the top float up above their hands.
Yeah, sure.
Here, what I think is really important that people miss is at the back of their swing, this bell is flopping up, right? The bag is flopping up. So if I'm creating an arc right here, I want it to keep that arc because physics says that I will build up as much force as possible so that way when I release, it has all the energy that I built up in the swing.
I guess we'll just call it the pendulum drill, is because it really teaches you to sort of pendulum the bag and keep tension in the bag without having to worry about force production immediately. A lot of people get too concerned with like, I have to be so strong and so fast and push so hard, but they haven't mastered the really basic part of just keeping tension in the handles, Keep tension in the handles. Notice the sides of the bag aren't getting loose at all. I'm just swinging it back and forward, keeping tension, following the arc that the bag naturally wants to go in, and then I can easily add force to it.
My bad.
So I think a good lifting analogy for the loose bag thing at the end of the arc, it's the same as like you don't want to lose tension in a lift. You don't want the bag to lose tension as it swings under. So when the bag like flops at the end, that's like you going to the bottom of a squat and being like...
And bottoming out. Exactly.
Right? And then trying to get tight again.
I'm keeping it taut all the way through my wrist. And the moment that I try to over-exaggerate my swing, albeit like this, I've lost everything I've built up.
Do that again.
So I want to keep my chest upright, and then at the top, right here, I'm not letting this bag get above my wrist, because when it does happen, the bag loses tension. It's pretty simple.
Well, you're not doing a bag swing. You're throwing a bag, so why would the bag
So I'm throwing a bag.
Yeah, of course the bag's gonna go over your wrist.
So, you walk up and you throw it on the first time every time?
Fuck yeah.
You do?
I
Fuck
always...
yeah.
You don't take a prep swing?
No, I'm always... One pump, always.
No.
One pump?
Straight through.
Forever.
Straight through.
Every time. Every time. But that's more...
On
like,
a competition.
Yeah, but I mean, if I could do it in competition, I would never...
So here's the thing, is a lot of
people.
people can't do that in competition.
Everyone can
A lot
do
of
that.
people...
Every single person can do that.
A lot of people still know that
It's a waste of time.
at 50 pounds or at 30 pounds, at whatever height, that might be their top end. That might be their threshold.
Yeah.
So they need to make sure that they're going to get that lift.
What they're doing is they're wasting time
I think
wasting
they're-
energy.
It's a waste.
You think, yeah.
And it's mental. It's like, oh God, I hope,
It's-
man, I hope I get this. It makes no, I personally don't think it makes any sense.
That would be like going to do a clean and doing like a clean pull and then a clean.
See, yeah. What I would say is I'd rather see the person take a prep swing and get it versus not take it and miss and then waste time to get the bag again.
I think if you need multiple swings to get tension, that's just, you haven't practiced enough. I can find tension immediately.
I think you could have gotten it on
Not
the
everybody
first
can.
on practice.
Yeah, I think
So
everybody.
that's,
I think
that's a
everybody
good way
can.
to teach people,
I
right?
think
That's a good
everybody
thing to add into an accessory.
Yeah.
So,
Right?
so maybe
Assistance
we'll.
training.
One pumps.
Maybe
One
we should.
pump,
Maybe we
essentially.
should each. Maybe we should each talk about how we do the bag throws,
Yes.
because
You throw it differently.
I throw it differently than
She
you.
throws it.
We all throw
I naturally throw it well, and I've had to think about what I do because I don't think about it, I just do it.
You just do.
So
Same.
I've had to reverse engineer and figure out what I'm doing.
Same.
I
Yeah,
had to get better at
and
it.
Rebecca
I had to
had to
like
get
work
better
at it. Yeah.
So, Andrew, you take us through just like step by step, and maybe you can use a bag or not. Just show us your body position and what you think about and where, like.
So I think about walking up, grabbing the bag,
Yep.
popping back into position.
Well,
My
what
grip.
is in position?
So my position, my feet are always outside of my hips.
Yep.
Because I like to get into a jump, but I know that I need space to swing this bag, and I don't want to chafe on the inside of my fat legs. And so I like to be a little bit wider. And then as I'm coming through, I'm jumping into a more of a heightened stance because I'm trying to get that bag higher.
Okay.
But the grip itself, I'm in fingertips. I'm barely holding this bag.
Okay.
Some people like to get under it and really wrench down. I like to just give the bag some height. And then as I get back into the swing from the grab, nice and tall,
Yeah.
and that's really it. So I try to accentuate. I try to also think about the timing of where I'm releasing it. So if like we're on a clock, if I'm going up this way, I don't want to release at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, maybe 12 o'clock is where I want to release. I'll even hold on to it a little bit longer because I want to make sure that the trajectory is upright or is up as high as it goes. Some people will release right here way too early, and then the bag just comes right back down at them. You want to tell it where to go, and that's the physics part of it. I don't understand the physics, but
So this is why it's so fun, because I think we do the same exact thing, but I would say almost everything the opposite of what you said, I think.
Well, why don't you tell
we'll
us?
say it.
Well, I'm about to. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. So what I do, I mean, regardless of where I pick it or whatever, because I think that's more of like in the competition sort of portion, like the strategy. I pull it straight back here. Then as I come up, I dip down, let my arms, I want my arms personally to be as far away from me as possible. Like if you think about a record spinning, the inside of the record matches the outside of the record all the time, right? Yeah. But the outside of the record is spinning so much faster than the inside. So my thinking is the further away my arms are, the faster that's moving. And the faster the bag's moving, obviously the faster it can travel, or the further it can travel. So I dip down here and then I squat down. I actually lean back. Like if you ever, I think, I try to counterbalance the weight with leaning back. And then like the bag and my body kind of come together. And I usually let go about right here.
Really?
I didn't even know that. I thought I was like letting go at the very top too, but I started watching videos, and I think it's like with baseball or tennis, you're supposed to follow through, right? Okay, you're at bat, you hit the ball right here, but you end your swing all the way here, right?
Yeah.
So I'm doing this and I'm like, and I think, oh, I'm letting go at the last second. Well, dude, I watch my videos. I let go like right fucking here. It's like already out of my hands. But so what I do is I think of, like if I sort of had to break it down what I'm doing, I think about it more as like a graph. If I were charting, like there's like maximal tension, and then I can feel at a certain point that it's like the most tension there is, that's kind of like when I let go, like I can feel that peak, but it's sort of intuitive, right?
Yeah.
So I don't exactly know how to say.
I think there's a moment when the handles feel the lightest in your hands. Like when the, if you can like feel, there's a moment when the tension decreases significantly, and then you just let it fly.
Yeah, if you hit that, yeah, exactly. You can sort of feel that spot. If you hit that just right, that's when you get the peak. So
is it because you can't exert any more force on the bag? It's as much as you could do, as in like you're throwing it and then there's a point you can't throw it from here.
Yeah,
to here.
Because you give the bag its energy, right?
Yeah,
and then now you're just guiding it.
Yeah, there's a time when you can no longer exert any more like vertical force on the bag.
yeah, you're not adding any more momentum.
Yeah, when you let go.
Yeah, because you're not muscling it, right?
No.
It's all you're doing is holding on for dear life. If in the middle of my bag's throw, the bag all of a sudden disappeared, I'd fall on my ass, right? And if in the middle of my bag throw, the bag were all of a sudden heavier, it would pull me forward.
Yep.
Because I'm almost like stretching my body and the bag as far away from each other as possible to create that momentum.
Precisely.
And then you put them together, and theoretically or metaphorically, when you feel them touch, it's just let go.
Because it's your force and the
so I think what you'll see a lot is you'll see someone, right? You guys have seen this where they go like they're just trying to muscle it, and they're giving it everything they have, and it's not fucking moving. But I can use one hand and just like, that's like no effort.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of effort. But it's just like I can feel this tightness, and then all of a sudden
the bag
but it's a follow
kind of
through.
weightless.
And it becomes weightless, and you let go,
Yeah.
and then you still follow through, even though it.
You know what? I think it's the moment when the bag starts when the bag has enough force that it is moving upwards on its own, right? Like there's a point where you have to direct it, you're even kind of pushing with your legs and like providing force, and then there's a point when the bag is just going to keep going finally on its own, and like that's when you let go.
Okay, so how about
jump
this?
squatting.
So the squatting down and the jumping, the shoulders, all of this stuff, none of that I don't think actually contributes to the momentum of the bag. The momentum of the bag comes from what you said, which is that arc.
Yeah,
it's that arc. If you've ever seen a trebuchet, it's this thing with like a rope and tied to a rock, and it swings really far out, and then at its peak or whatever it releases. That's what you were saying. There's that arc. So I think the squatting, the muscles, you standing up, all of that stuff is to keep that arc moving. So everything you're doing is in service of making that arc
exactly
I think as big as
you
possible.
are the trebuchet.
Yeah.
And you're launching the bag.
And if you do a little too much and pull the arc a little too far in, maybe it just kind of goes straight up. Or no, maybe it like doesn't go high enough. And if you have it too far out, maybe it just goes straight up and comes straight back down.
And that's another thing. You were talking about snatch, like you treat it like a snatch, and I think that's really important, is because there's that follow through portion where you get that extension. So some people will grab the bag and they'll stop right here. Like,
here, do one.
Some people, they'll get the bag and they'll go.
Yeah.
And that's it. Whereas I think the extension part is really important. So you get through. I mean, I'm as tall and I'm as high as I can be.
Yeah. And
that's
on that,
that
on that
extension.
first one, when you went like this, it almost looked like and I know it didn't actually happen to you because you're so much stronger, but it's almost like the bag got the better of you, and you're just like,
Oh,
it was just like
100.
too hard, and like
100%. Yep.
right.
It doesn't matter if it's a 30-pound bag,
Yeah.
but the way you move that weight matters.
I think I don't like to use the kettlebell swing as like a movement prep for bags, because I think the lower body movement is quite different. But I do think something you can learn from the kettlebell swing that a lot of people struggle with when they first start doing kettlebell swings is like too much arms.
Yeah.
Way
Yes.
too much.
Yeah.
And actually you see it with cleans and Olympic lifting and snatches and everything else too.
100%.
It's people always have this like death grip and like super fucking
can't do that
arm
with
grip,
bags.
biceps, shoulders, everything, where like you really want to learn how to just keep the arms really long and let your lower body do the work, right?
why I
Your
said
arms are
fingertip.
just there to basically hold it in that arc until the bag is moving on its own, and then you let go. So I do think that's like something you can learn from kettlebell swings for people who are newer into it, is really learning how to allow your lower body to move the weight, and your hands are just gently holding it enough to keep the bag in your hands, and that's it.
Well, why don't you show us how you throw a bag?
Sure, yeah, okay. So when I throw bags, I like to think about it. I think about developing the force in the initial hike. Just again, something similar to a kettlebell swing. Your force is going to come from that hike. So you'll see when people go to do a kettlebell swing or even start with a bag, a lot of the time they do this thing where they kind of like pick it up and then they try to just swing it from here. And the reason it doesn't work is because you haven't developed enough direction this way to push it the other way, right? Like, so I always like to think of it as I'm trying to develop the most force I can as I'm hiking it back, because then all I have to do is change the direction and jump. So I always try to keep the bag way out in front of me. I'll set it on the ground or I'll swing it, pull it from all the way out here really hard back, and then throw it up. And then from there, out of the hike, all I'm doing is shifting a little bit more upright. Again, I think of it more as a snatch or a clean, where you would be here, you're driving through the quads as a jump, not swinging it back, right? It's not a horizontal movement, it's a vertical movement. So all together, it's into the trees, tight.
I mean, I think the people want to see Andrew and I go head to head on a bag run right now, but
I want to throw bags.
I'm not going to do it.
I'm gonna do more.
I mean,
I'm gonna do more. I want to do more. I am not fulfilled.
I'm not doing it.
I must throw more bags.
I don't want to do it.
Okay, well, I want to throw
I'm
bags.
scared.
But that's 15 feet, right?
That's the.
do it over 15, yeah.
Yeah. All right, because I haven't thrown it. All right, now's the time to see if I
you got it.
actually do this. I'm kind of nervous all of a sudden because
He talked a lot of shit.
I don't know if I can do this.
Athlete ready. You want it ready?
Yes, sir.
3, 2, 1, go.
Good.
Good.
Good. Good. Good. Good.
Ah!
For completion.
Oh, he misses it!
Ah!
Talked all that shit! Talked all that shit, huh?
Wait, keep rolling. Did you see that?
Hey, Henness, how does it feel to be a loser?
I'm a fucking turd. Ooh, ooh. Dude, you see how gassed I am? I can't even extend. Woo!
That was amazing.
Woo!
All right, well, I have to.
And now we gotta practice some more. First back throw in a while. You know what? I was in the car all day. Okay? I was in the car all day. Ooh, but that was a doozy.
Tommy's 40, he always feels like he was in the car all day.
That is a fucking fact.
You know what? I even told myself, I was like, completion, not time. Take your time on the last throw.
That is true. You still didn't
And
get
then I
it.
still missed it 3 times. Woo! I forgot how fun that is. I forgot how fun that was. So the
got
first bag. All right, Adley, ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
Good.
Nice. Pull it in.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
Come on. There you go.
Good.
Come
Run
on, Tom.
higher. Good. Come on.
Last one, nice and easy. Oh!
Hey! There he goes.
21.50.
World's strongest man.
I gotta work on that.
Very nice, old man.
Couldn't stop me if you tried.